We are back. Let me ask you the next question and we'll go back to the rest of your portfolio. So, what is your dream art job versus the job that you're currently pursuing?
My dream art job, I think it was to become sort of an animator and a comic or manga artist. And yeah, I very much wanted to have a job very much closely related to making anime. And I think if not that, I think I also wanted to just become just freelance artist where it's just like I just make do a bunch of commissions and stuff for a living. And I now find that that's not exactly realistically possible because I mean it's not that you can't become an animator or a comic artist. You can. It's just that for amateur artists like myself, starting off, I don't think I can make a living trying to make a bunch of animation and comics for a living. So right now, I'm sort of looking for sort of graphic design careers in sort of the federal sphere, but also in the more professional workplace. Mostly because I do still want to do things art wise. I'm thinking of becoming like an industrial designist. And so I definitely think I can definitely do a lot of designing, both industrial design and graphic design wise. But I can also still do like animation and comic making and manga making on the side as like part of like a little side hustle where it's just like I just have like a little third party Patreon thing going on, and I
Mm-hmm.
can make stuff that way. And it can also just be a great way of getting yourself out there, getting your art put out there by putting it out there in like other mediums. Since I really do enjoy illustration and animation. I enjoy those things as a personal hobby, but I'm also trying to look for how to turn these hobbies into a job. And in the graphic design world, it just seems like it's better to just know how to do like a bunch of stuff with graphic design, like web design wise and branding design wise. It's better to know that since there's a lot of lucrative job opportunities for graphic designers than to do like a bunch of illustrations for a living. At least in my case, since I don't know, I haven't done a lot of illustration or been exposed to a lot of illustration job opportunities. So I may be
Mm-hmm.
wrong, there may be amazing job opportunities as an illustrator. It's just that right now I'm really trying to get something like a little bit more stable before I move on to doing like a
Yeah.
lot of passion jobs.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of artists do. They have their what I guess what they in any art profession, what we call the day job, and then over time our skills build up until we reach that threshold where we have the knowledge, we have the resources, and we have the audience who wants to buy our things or um to support us, and then we just take off from there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. So what you're doing is very, very smart and very strategic. Yeah. But I'm hoping that Jasmyn will, have a platform. I feel like it's inevitable, like whether it's a YouTube channel or like something where she has a platform to tell her stories in the future. I just believe it's gonna happen, and
Yeah, it kind of is. I am trying to get my Tumblr page because it's just like I didn't really want to go like on like huge mainstream platforms just yet, just because I'm not gonna be like I don't see myself being able to update like these media platforms very often because of just all my other responsibilities. So I am trying to at least get a Tumblr page going for like all my personal stuff, just for personal designs that I've done, maybe to post all my old artworks that I have, animations that I've done, and maybe some of my art projects that I've done, and just give a little bit more background information of, well, I created, what I did, some sketches, the sketches that I have of these final designs, and sort of the process of how I made it. So that's what I'm thinking about doing.
Yes, and all of us listening are very excited for that. Okay, so let's go into your portfolio and look at these other beautiful art pieces that you have. I think we were at number 8. We stopped at 7. Okay, so tell, because this is the third time I'm seeing this. What are these bees here in the sparkles? Like, what is that? What does that
Oh,
mean?
so that's a watermark. So a lot of my digital art, I put a watermark on, and that's actually one of my other design projects that I had to do, which was we had to create our own like signature logo with like our initials. And so I made this little JB sort of
In
watermark.
class?
Yeah, in my one of my is yeah, in my typography class.
Ooh, snap! I'm gonna. Oh, I'm excited now for that class. I hope that we have that assignment.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's just like you can honestly do that yourself. Just take your two initials and then try and play around um with making a logo for it. You have to kind of like you can combine it like for me because I got like a really hard one since my initials are J and B. I that was kind of like a little challenging to kind of like combine it other than just have J and B next to each other. So I kind of combined it like the stem of like the B and then like the stroke of the J. And there's like this really cool, it was like a gothic black letter font that I loved so much that I just decided I'm using that and I made this
Okay.
logo. So I made another one very similar to it, but it's like in a slab sans font. So maybe I'll show it to you, Samantha. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll see.
So I'm guessing that you posted this maybe because you put the watermark on it, or was it just to show that you applied it in your typography class?
No, I put that there just because I hadn't posted this yet, but I was definitely going to like this was going to be one of the art pieces that I was going to try and post at some point, and I just wanted to kind of get into the practice of putting a watermark over my art, all my digital art, on a daily basis because with the rise in AI art being a thing and how AI sort of steals other artists' work. I didn't know if there were any programs out there that I could use to kind of block AI art or AI stealing my art if I were to ever post it. So I just got in the habit of just putting a watermark, like the best way to kind of make sure your art isn't stolen other than just signing your like putting your signature on it somewhere is to apply a watermark if you can, if you're doing like digital wise. So I basically just kind of just try and get in the habit of doing that for a lot of my artwork.
And I see how you're playing around with composition with the position of the car, just angling that, the perspective there, and the blending is very, very nice. This thing up here reminds me of the Lord of the Rings. Eye, is that what it is? What is this?
Yeah, so one's an eye, the other is just the moon looking creepy.
Okay.
Being a little
Yeah,
creeper.
I appreciate all of these details. Now, did you draw all of that yourself?
Yes.
Oh my
Everything.
goodness. See,
Yep.
this is the type of thing I would just cheat and take something from another picture and just insert it, kind of
Oh
trace over.
no. I can't do that.
Ah,
Honor, my honor. I can't, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to push myself to kind of just draw this because this was also for another project, I think freshman year. And the goal was to draw a song, is to draw a picture based off on your favorite song. And I don't know if you know the song. It's called My Ordinary Life by the Living Tombstone.
no.
Yeah, no, it's okay, but it's a very prolific song made by a very famous YouTuber on of course YouTube. And so he made this song and I really associate a lot with it because it really does kind of it just shows what happens to like it tells a story of what happens when you take the wrong path in life. And
Mm,
it kind of tells the story through like the perspective of an artist who is basically able to make all these amazing soundtracks. And even though a lot of the people in his life are kind of being fake, kind of praising him just because he's rich and he has an influence because of his music, they still stick by him and praise him because of of his money. And so it kind of just kind of tells the sort of story of sort of the downfall of, taking the wrong path. So this was very much, I associated so much with this because I definitely didn't want to get to that point in my life where I let my ego sort of grow past me and sort of grow so large that I don't remember to kind of humble myself and
mhm.
realize that the things that I have in life, I did not get there by myself. I had a lot of people supporting me and helping me sort of grow and develop. So for this composition, I sort of pictured sort of myself sort of being in the driver's seat of like the maniac artist, like just driving around, having his song blasting on the radio, and in this sort of dystopian sort of world, and like you're literally being taken for a ride, and he's kind of just like playing his song, and you're kind of like seeing how the sort of person came to the way he is or became the person who he is and why. And that sort of kind of makes you kind of reflect on your own life and kind of realize, have you become this sort of person where you've kind of let your ego grow beyond repair, and that you kind of betrayed your moral code and your own personal values and morals for things like fame and money and influence. So that's sort of what this project was, sort of how I describe making this. So in this, there's like a lot of symbolism in this that kind of ties to pretty much lyrics to the song. Like there's one lyric that goes, my King Midas, make me part of your design. And the implication is referencing to a Greek folk tale of King Midas who made a wish that everything he touched turned to
Oh,
gold. Yeah,
no.
and that did not end well. Technically, there are sources that say that he ended up touching his daughter and turning his daughter into gold. Others say
Yeah.
he didn't have a daughter and that he literally just turned everything to gold, didn't want the wish, asked for one of the gods to take the wish away, and then they did, and he ended up just flooding an entire river full of gold. So that's why it's kind of in a gold car, because I was just like, oh, Midas touched the car, and this guy's so rich he's able to afford a gold car. And the tilting of the car was actually a critique I got from, I think, my professor, when he was just like, oh, instead of having the car sort of stable, since originally it was just stable and in motion, he was just like, why not kind of tilt it to make it seem like, like there's something going on, like the add
It
more
looks like
dynamic
they're
mood.
about, yeah, because everything else is parallel. And so
Yeah.
because it's tilting, it looks like they're about to crash or something.
Yeah. Like, don't drive, like, don't drunk and drive, kids.
This is a
But yeah.
very, very good composition, and I appreciate the details. Ooh, wow. This is giving me Sailor Moon vibes. I think it's because I saw this tiny moon. That is that a moon? No, wait, is that her crown?
Yeah, it is a moon. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you could actually like pick that out. Oh my gosh, look at
Yeah.
you.
And her just the style, like the sparkly extravagance of the dress. Like wow, pretty.
Thank you. Yes, this is another one where I was just playing around. So with this one, I don't know. I feel like I was just playing around with just drawing again figures, because yeah, a lot of the time I would like draw either similar figures or the same figures. and just sort of have them change sort of outfits. So for this one, I was playing around like, oh, what if she was like some sort of princess with like a very sparkly dress, and I really wanted to like draw them in like a very nice background. So I drew all this. This is all in Procreate again. Yeah, pretty much all digital art that I've done or that we've shown have been in Procreate. So with this, I basically just drew some sort of star princess. She's in some sort of lake-like background with a bunch of trees, and she's on like this decrepit bridge, just holding her weapon, which is a scythe.
No.
Can't see it, but it's just like it's a boat, it's over the bridge, and I was just like, oh, you can't see it, but that's okay. But yeah, it's a scythe, and yeah, it's just I wanted to really make an illustration with like a starry like theme, and so this was like what I kind of come up with. So looking back on it, it's actually pretty nice.
Guessing that you made all of this this ledge here, like the crack in the ledge.
Yep, I illustrated all of that.
Oh my gosh. Look at
it took a very long time.
Look at that crack. That looks like a real crack.
Don't ask how long it took to make.
I know you did references for that. I know you did.
I did. Yes, I did. I always use references for everything, as a good artist should. As a good artist should.
She's better than me. I don't know. Even though I tell you guys to always use references, sometimes I don't, because I just get lazy. That looks so good. My only critique for this is that I would change the composition a bit, because it seems that the focus and the main action is on the upper half. So I would bring down the girl so that the center of the picture has more of her body in it, and so we can see more of the sky and maybe what she's looking at a little bit, because she's looking up and you're wondering, what is she looking at? Wow, like I wonder what and yeah, that would be kind of cool to see a bit more of the sky. Awesome. But I understand, because you were trying to get that nice detail in the structure of the columns that she's sitting on. So yeah, I'm gonna need someone to make me this dress, by the way. If you make dresses and you just want to do something nice for me, make this dress. This is a beautiful dress, and I need to steal it from her.
Right? May have to fight her for it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this is some more recent, it's a bit of a more recent art piece. So this is from my illustration class. So this is one of the assignments. It was our final actually that we had to do. And so basically we were instructed to make a character, a monster. It was Beast or Hero, Beast or Hero character design. And so at the beginning of the year, we made 100 lists, where it was going to be a compilation, like a list of 100 things we either knew how to draw, wanted to know how to draw, and things that we have never drawn before. And so from that 100 list, we would basically, it was like we would roll a dice, and pick one item from our 100 list based off on the number that was rolled. So I think I still have the little character sheet that we used for our 100 list, because we had to like include the backstory, the place of birth. Yeah, so birthplace, secret lair, weakness, strength, and then costume. So for the birthplace, I got still life or anatomy. So I went with still life. For the secret lair, I got a gothic church. For the weakness, I got inner demons or teeth. So I went with inner demons. And then for strength, I got fairies. And then for costume, it was a mix. Because I kept getting weird answers. So the first one was a naga, which is a mythical creature, the half human, half snake mythical creature. And
I was wondering if it was a man or a woman, because the muscle is the muscular. He and is also hurt, but the eye is very feminine. The eye, face, so facial structure is very smooth, except for the nose. The nose looks more masculine, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, he's male. My
Oh,
art teacher had the exact same question. Be like, this is guy or girl? I'll be like, yeah, he's a guy. And they're basically Nagas, but just female, and they're basically beautiful and seductress or whatever. Not seductress. I think they're depicted as friendly creatures. Either they can be friendly or they can be like seductive creatures that try and kill and eat you. For this project, because I had gotten like still life as his place of birth, I immediately started kind of making the story that he wasn't born, but he was rather made. So I don't know if you know the Greek mythology tale of the man who fell in love with his own masterpiece. I forget the name of the guy,
wait,
but
Narcissus?
no, that's Narcissus. No, that's the guy who basically fell in love with himself and kept turning away all of his suitors, and they ended up like getting very depressed about it. So
Mm-hmm.
no, that's Narcissus. There's another Greek tale of an artist who made a sculpture of a beautiful woman, and the sculpture ended up coming to life. He like prayed for the sculpture to come to life. His wish came true.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't remember the name, but it's based on a Greek tale of artist falling in love with their artwork. And so I decided to kind of take that sort of story and sort of make it into like give it to this character. So I sort of kind of went the sort of a mix of that and also Frankenstein, inspiration from Frankenstein, where basically there's this woman who was an artist and she desperately wanted a child, but she could not have one. So she decided to paint. Like she was an amazing painter, so she decided to paint and make her own child. And so, or at least what they would look like. So she would paint all the years of his life. So she would paint from she would spend years of her life painting his life from birth to their juvenile age to basically adult. And so
Mm.
basically she became very ill, and her last painting was of him as an adult. And she kind of made a final prayer to kind of make her wish come true and to give her a child, and then she passed away. And then pretty much years later, the painting actually comes to life, and that's where you kind of come into the scene where he's sort of reaching out and trying to sort of from the um break free from the painting. But
Mm.
because we kind of had to incorporate all of the characteristics of our character, not just their birthplace and secret lair, but also sort of like weaknesses and strength. We had to at least incorporate at least most, if not all of that. I decided to try and include sort of the other aspects of the composition, which was the demon or the inner demons. So you kind of have these claws sort of reaching out from the bottom. You can't see them, but they're like reaching out and trying to like claw at the painting, and he's sort of reaching out, trying to like get your attention. So that was sort of the backstory behind my character. And so when it
Mm.
came to designing him, because I was taking inspiration from Greek mythology as well, just with the story, I decided to kind of include a little bit more characteristics of sort of inspiration from Greek mythologies. Gorgons, that's what they're called. Gorgons, which are basically creatures with snake hair. But there isn't a lot of research on them. But the more accurate tale of, I think, female Gorgons is that they're completely hideous, that they're ugly, and they look very terrifying. So I decided to kind of switch it up and like make it so that this male Gorgon was basically the opposite. He was like absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and that he wasn't really as bloodthirsty as like Medusa. He was just very much very shy and quiet. He's basically not a baddie. He's not a good guy either. He's just legit just a guy who lives in a Gothic church who sometimes tries to become a librarian just to make ends meet and to make a living. So I know I called it Elysian. Like if I were to like make this the title of a book, it would be Elysian. Spirit of his past mother who kind of helps guide him and help him. So the title is Elysian. I'm pretty sure I made them that's his last name as well, but his actual name is, I think it was Ezra. It was either Ezra or Elias. That's my little
This
character.
this this is very dynamic. Even though it's like flat, the hand reaching out and then the layers of the lighting, the perspective, it's very, very well done. There's the focus, you have the focus in the center with it being bright in the picture and everything else is kind of dark. And I love how in this one, the watermark isn't very distracting. It's there, but it's like faded so you can really focus on what's happening in the picture. And the anatomy of these hands, these skeleton hands, is just absolutely amazing. And the picture frame, I'm just guessing you made all of this yourself again, right?
Yep.
Whoo! Someone hire this woman.
Please, I need a job.
So good. Wow. This hand is amazing. It's amazing. Everything is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
When is she gonna make a manga? When is she gonna make a comic?
I have the motivation. Like when I have the motivation.
Yeah, pay her. Support her Patreon when she makes it. And
That's
then
a
she'll
great motivation. I like that one.
give her money and she'll do it.
I will. Yes, I will. I'll draw whatever you want within reason.
So tell us about this one. This is different from everything else because you didn't draw it, but it's photography. So I'm guessing you did this for your photography class?
No, this one actually isn't photography. This was actually for my 3D sculpture class. And so basically for this one, we're supposed to make a costume based on an emotion. And then we're supposed to perform it in class. So the emotion I chose was anxiety. So we're supposed to make this all out of cardboard, it was basically all out of cardboard. And we weren't supposed to color it. It had to be cardboard. It had to be, we could use other materials like twine, which is a type of string. You can kind of see when it's attached to me. And then also brown paper as well as super hot glue or super glue or some sort of glue. So we couldn't use color. And then we had to sort of figure out a way to express the emotion. And so what I did, I think a few sketches, when I thought of anxiety, I thought of just having your brain sort of like clotted with like a bunch of just thoughts, like a bunch of thoughts, like just taking over your head with your brain, and how you just can't get over just the overwhelming feeling that you're sort of going through. And when I think of someone being anxious, I feel like there's like, how in anime there's like a shadow that covers their face.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking with this character, but instead of a shadow, it's like sort of like all these like squiggly strings that represent sort of all the thoughts that are sort of binding them. And it's just like there's all these sort of like binds, these things that are just binding them and holding them down. Like your brain is constantly being wrapped up in all this negative talk and negative thinking to a point where it's sort of shackling you. So I tried sort of kind of expressing this with like the helmet, which is this weird ball thing that has all these like
it looks so cool. I love it.
It was supposed to kind of look sort of like a skeleton, but also sort of mimic sort of the same sort of wrappy texture of the helmet. So it's sort of like binding my shoulders and like my upper arms. So, and then there's another one that's like holding my arms together. Those I thought of like those really big shackles, like arm shackles or hand shackles that they kind of put on like prisoners, or like the best example I can think of is like in Frozen when Elsa's like taken captive. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Frozen. But when she's taken captive and she has like these arm handcuffs on her that cover her entire hand and arm to kind of keep her from using her powers. That's what I was kind of thinking for this. And then there's of course some other rope binding me like on the legs. And then each of the sort of the boxes around me are kind of taped with twine. And then it's kind of like attached to either the helmet or the body shackles or the arm shackles or like the leg shackles. It's attached to one of the shackles in some way, and it sort of represents sort of all the negative thoughts or things that are like holding you down. And we were actually made to kind of like wear this and perform it in class. So my professor has a video of me like doing the like my little performance, like visual, it's like performing arts performance for this project. I do not have it. I wish I did. But I'll probably maybe in the future I'll probably just email my old professor and be like, hey, can I have that video of me doing the performance or like see all the other performances that we did? So
Yeah.
yeah, while performing, I basically kind of act like an Enderman, where it's just like if you looked at me or in my general direction, or if I could see that you were looking at me, I would like creep away. And I was like always like hunched over, kind of like crawling. It was like there's something clearly weighing me down, and I was just always
Mhm.
walking around like a shackled prisoner.
Wow.
And yeah,
That
that
is
was
so cool. What an amazing project. I love putting a form to an emotion. Did anyone do like happiness? Please tell me at least one person did like joy or happiness or
I
something.
think someone did joy or happiness. I can't actually remember. They had like a little thing where it's like they had a bunch of petals and the petals were like weapons. So like when I try and take one of the petals, she would like throw them at me and I would like run around all scared. So I
Mhm.
don't know. That's the only one that I remember. But yeah, a lot of design. I think like someone like made a really cool like antler box looking helmet and it looked so cool. And they all did some sort of video. We were supposed to either take a video or perform in class. And a lot of people made videos and it was like so good. Remember
A
this?
beautiful death weapon.
Yep.
Oh, actually, it doesn't have to be. See, you can use an axe for so many things. You can use it to chop a watermelon. You can use it to chop a tree, to chop some wood. It doesn't have to be something to harm other people.
I definitely made this as a weapon. So
So
glad you
so
got that the first time around.
so what is yeah, what was this for?
So this was for another 3D sculpture class, and so basically the assignment was for us to find an object and then turn it into something else. So I think this was like sophomore, yeah, it was sophomore year. And for some reason, I had this like wooden sort of plank. It's like the brown part, the very dark brown part of the axe. I had this like wooden plank from a shelf that we never kind of used. And so I literally just kept it as literally like a defense weapon just in case if anyone tried to like break into our dorm. Since I was still very cautious since I'd never lived away from home. So I literally just made that I kept it as a weapon. But then as soon as this project sort of came up, I decided I was actually going to make myself a weapon and I wanted to make an axe. So I basically used cardboard and paper mache and tin foil. And basically for the axe head and the, I guess, guitar head, I literally stacked a bunch of cardboards together, like a bunch of layers of cardboard, glued them together, and
Mhm.
then added paper mache on top so that I could add like a different layer on top of it to also kind of make it look a little bit more I don't know, just so that the cardboard wouldn't stick out so much and like the cardboard texture wouldn't like be so apparent. So after I pretty much got the paper mache down and let that dry, I basically painted it over and basically made like a bunch of like little designs on it. I used another piece of cardboard that kind of makes sort of accented the accents or add to the accents of the weapon, like the actual blade. I used like tin foil and then I used like a golden metallic paint to kind of make sort of like the little nubs on it. I wanted this to be like a guitar because I was definitely going to try and like find some string and try and turn it into a guitar looking weapon because I was inspired by Marceline like Adventure Time. So, but I couldn't find any string and I didn't know how to make a guitar from cardboard yeah, uh from cardboard. So I basically just add the little, I don't know what you call it, but it's the little parts of the guitar, the little nubs on the guitar that are behind the string that kind of control the pitch of the string, with pitch the string makes. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forget what they're called too, but yeah.
yeah,
You people who play instruments, who play string instruments, you know what we're talking about. Please
yeah, you,
tell us in the comments.
yeah. Forgive me for being an uncultured swine.
No, that's a beautiful rose pattern, and this is definitely something you could take to Comic Con.
Oh, I wanted to, but it's just like it got so heavy. Well, yeah, it's just I couldn't place it anywhere, so I threw it out. I do
As you
not
can,
have it, unfortunately, anymore.
and I have a friend who loves weapons. He loves weapons, and he would think this is really cool.
If people pay me or like give me money or materials, I can totally show off my blacksmithing skill and make a bunch of weapons. Just saying, just putting that out there. Just
Yeah. Now this one I'm really excited about. So as you can see, like you see her anime character, so you can probably guess that this is her, and she's got the pink hair, and yeah, this is more a closer representation to how Jasmine actually looks.
yes, yes,
Though
it is.
you will not see her face today because we don't want you to be stalking
Never,
her.
never. You shall never see my face. The government shall never find me. Never.
But how long do you think it took to make this painting?
Oh no, it took weeks. I knew I worked on that for hours and hours on weeks because we got this assignment, which was a full body self-portrait. It was supposed to be either a full body or a very big headshot. I think it was supposed to be full body or up to your torso that you had to do the self-portrait. So this was like a almost 4 to 5 foot image. And so we were also supposed to use like a reference, and we were supposed to like find an image from like an art book or whatever, use that as a reference, pose for the self-portrait, like have ourselves pose for the self-portrait in real time, and then draw from the photograph and make the self-portrait that way with using either charcoal or pastels. But if you use charcoal, you had to use at least, or you had to include at least one color in it. So because I had already sort of started painting or making a lot of the image in like color already, I just went ahead and just did the entire thing in color. So I knew it had to take like weeks, more than probably working more than 6 to 10 hours on this, like every single day or yeah, every single day, and maybe 24, a total of 24 hours each week. So
Mhm.
this took a long time and I was sick. I actually had to do an all-nighter for this. So I was also sick at the same time making this. So it took forever, but I was very happy with the final product. So yes, this is the most accurate sort of self-portrait I've done for myself thus far. I definitely do still have the sort of pink sort of ombre sort of braids, but and the outfit is very much, I wore that exact outfit when taking the photograph. It was basically just a red dress with like a nice little kimono looking overwear that my sister bought me. And so I took that, and then the thing that I'm actually holding is supposed to be a scythe. And
Yes. She loves scythes. Way she's obsessed with
yeah,
them.
Yes, I do. I have an obsession. I don't know why. I have an obsession, but yes, it is a scythe. And I actually used my Swiffer mop. I used that as a placeholder for the scythe, and then I basically just looked up a bunch of pictures of scythes and then just tried to render that into the picture. And then the background, I tried to make it look similar to, I think, the background of the art piece that I took inspiration from, at least color wise. I kind of just colored things in, like the little structure that I'm standing in front of. That's basically from 100% from, I think it was like an area on campus where they have like this skate park and they have like a bunch of these like stone structures that they have around the skate park where people can like sit down and relax on. But then the background, I just decided to kind of mimic the sort of sky of the art piece that I took inspiration from. But
Mm.
yeah, this was a self-portrait project that took God knows how long to make, way too long. And did sacrifice part of my soul to make this, but it was worth it because it's like it
Yeah,
was it's very beautiful
it's
just to
stunning.
look at how much work I put into this.
Yeah.
I see all the places where I spent the most amount of time working on with the folds of the clothing to the dress, to the
Talk
hair,
about talk
arm.
about
It took so long, and I'm just like, hey, it was done. I got a good grade on it.
how she knows her anatomy.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Amazing. Wow. And that what did you hang it on? That background is really good. Like the vibe of that
Oh,
is very good.
I'm glad you like our studio walls because yeah, that's basically a wall in one of the studios. So basically, because we in a lot of my foundation drawing art class, because we are required to kind of do a lot of like very big life-size sort of drawings, we
Hmm.
have to hang up our like the pieces of paper that we're working on. We have to hang that up on like the wall or have it like laid flat out on the ground because of how like big it is. Like if you try doing this on an easel, it would not fit. So I literally had to like pin this up on a wall using like little pins and like literally just work from there. So you can kind of see, I think in one of the corners, I think in the top corner, the paper's kind of ripped because we were like, as you get closer to the edges where the pin is, the paper kind of gets a little flimsy and you can like
I see.
accidentally rip it.
Oh, you did this on a paper?
Yep.
Never
Brown
do
paper.
that. Never. Did he that's what he wanted you to do it on though?
Yep.
Oh, should have done this on a canvas because those things are much sturdier. But this is
Yeah. There wasn't really a canvas because we were using pastels. This was pastels and
oh,
charcoal. So that I don't think it would have stuck to the
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
canvas. And then
See,
also,
that's even more amazing because I thought this was a painting.
yeah,
Wow. To
yeah,
achieve a level of detail with pastels and charcoal, it's just a lot harder, at least for
yeah,
me, than paint like with acrylic paint or oil paint or something. Just amazing,
yeah.
amazing.
No, it was definitely harder for me too. And it's just like we also didn't really have a canvas like a 4 foot, 5 foot canvas that we could like draw on. So we kind of had to improvise and just use paper.
Baby bottles. Is this a photo? Tell us about it.
So this was one of my more recent design. It was a branding design for one of my graphic design classes. So the goal of this project was to make a it was for packaging. We had to like make a label for like a drink. And so we had to come up with a whole entire brand for the said drink and then make a packaging sort of model for it. So what I did is that I chose milk and then I started playing around with designs for like a cow for the milk. And my art teacher actually gave me this idea where the cow that I did in Adobe Illustrator, it looked like an almond. So I had the idea that this would be like a brand of almond milk that's made
Ah,
for all ages, for everyone, and especially for people who are lactose intolerant. And so I started playing around with adding little fruits for the cow. Like we had delicious strawberry, delicious banana, and of course, good old delicious regular milk. And so for the actual design, because we were supposed to kind of design what we wanted the bottle to look like as well, even though we wouldn't be able to like make the bottle model, we had to kind of like look up on the internet free bottle models to use and then use those and just slap our label on them. We were still encouraged to kind of like sketch out what we would imagine the bottle to look like. So because it was a milk brand sort of drink, I decided to name it Utterly because the bottle was going to represent, it was going to be designed to look like the udders of a cow. So you were literally drinking from the cow's udders. And that's
okay.
why it's called Utterly.
Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite. I would probably drink that strawberry one and the regular. This I would buy this. I would drink this. Where is it? Where can I get
I'm sad that this doesn't exist because now I'm thirsty
No,
for milk. I'm thirsty for milk.
you could pitch. You could be like one of those people on Shark Tank and be like, literally,
Like,
and then
please, buy my milk.
I'll
The
I'll
milk
give
man.
you I'll give you $20,000 for your company and
Thanks.
etc.
Clear through the milk, man. We got cow milk. We got the almond milk
This
cow.
See, this just shows you how important branding is because literally anyone, like any company could make this, but the style, the mood, the feeling, it has like a wacky, fun feeling that's kind of nostalgic too. It's like the things like that, the packaging that really makes you want to buy something. Really cool. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like the whole reason why I use like the baby bottles is because I was originally going to do just a regular old milk bottle, like a glass milk bottle, and then just have like a udder design, like make the top of it look pink. But my graphic design teacher really wanted to have like the little udder freaking I don't know, the udder look to the bottle. And because I couldn't make it, like I couldn't make the 3D model, I had to like find something similar. And the only thing that was similar enough to do that was freaking milk baby bottles. So I just used bottles and slapped the label on. But yeah,
It's
this is
all
basically supposed to be like an adult drink as well as a kid drink for all.
That's really cool. And how the cows are upside down. I love it. Oh, so this looks like you used, before you tell me, it looks like you used real material. I'm guessing this is a photo. It's on a
Yeah.
tape and you have fabric
Mm-hmm.
and the let me guess the assignment. You had to take maybe an animal and use fabric to represent that animal and maybe an idea and concept with that as well.
Good guess, but no. It was basically we're basically supposed to design or make anything. It was literally just a free-for-all project where we could
Oh,
literally make anything. And
okay.
I decided that I really, really, really wanted to make like a winged cloak. Like I saw this on like Pinterest and it was like a winged cloak and I really liked it and I was just like, I want to make one, but I want it to be black. For this project, I was looking for like a bunch of fabric to use. And I went into this fabric store and I saw like this beautiful red, purple, and silver sort of rose or peonies flower looking design. And I loved it. And I really wanted to use that in my in the project. So I bought the fabric. I kind of cut out the pieces. It's kind of like the wings were kind of layered. It's like
Mhm.
multiple layers where there's the main layer where it's like that really red pink or red purple and silver black pattern, flower pattern. And then the cool thing about the fabric was that on the underside, which you can kind of see on like on the, it's like a small part of the wings underneath another totally black layer. Underneath the satin flower pattern, there's another version of the flower pattern where it just has like these stripes going over the same flower pattern, but the flowers are like changing different colors based off on the stripe they're on. So I really like that, and I really wanted to include that part. So but I didn't want it to kind of be too much. So I just included like a little bit of it onto the wing design, and then I just included like different sort of satin fabric layers along with it. So it's just like the next few layers are basically just one satin black fact pattern with, I don't know, it's like it's like another floor design, but you can't really see it. But I didn't really want you to kind of see that too much because I wanted the main sort of focus being on the pink and red and silver. But then I
Mhm.
added like a little button to make it work so that you can kind of like collapse the wing together and just have it hanging over you. So
You did you sew the fabrics together
yeah,
yourself?
I just used the sewing machine, and then there were some parts I think that I used
Oh,
where I
oh, wait. Uh,
by
did
hand.
you hear her? She's like, "Yeah, I just use a sewing machine." Like, like, okay, wow. She is so talented.
No, trust. It's just like this was actually like this was for a fabrics class. So it was the first time I ever learned how to use a sewing machine. And I was just like, really? This is how you sew? Oh my God.
So cool. Wow. Okay, and then you can sew me that dress that you made in the future, huh?
Ha
Huh?
ha 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 ha. Great joke. Ha ha.
That
So funny.
you
Ha ha
purple.
ha ha.
Okay, so we got the video here. Oh, okay. So what is this for?
So this was another graphic design project where we were actually tasked with making a logo animation. So we're supposed to find or pick a logo from any industry, whether that be a video game industry or an animation industry, or even just make your own logo and make your own animation. So we're basically just supposed to make an animation. I don't think it needed to be a specific length. I think we could, was it supposed to be a specific length? I'm not sure. But I think we were also supposed to include sound. Well, no, I don't think you needed to include sound. I think you just needed to make the logo move. And so for me, I wanted to pick Minecraft because I felt like that would be like the best way to like animate, or it would be the best thing for me to animate in terms of logo, since Minecraft's logo is very simple. It's literally just, I think they changed it. Like their logos kind of change depending. Sometimes it's just the weird blocky looking M. Other times it's literally just a dirt block. And I felt like Minecraft was just such an iconic sort of game. I was just like, I love this game. I love all the mechanics. I'm definitely going to just make an entire logo animation about Minecraft. And basically all the game mechanics you probably experience while playing the game. So this animation, I actually used two programs. I used Adobe Illustrator to illustrate all of the sort of mechanics. So the dirt block, the frog, the backgrounds, the water, the Steve flying around, the yeah, the redstone, click in the redstone dust, the mine shaft with the creeper and the explosion. I use Illustrator to create all of that. Then I put that into Adobe After Effects where I kind of animated all the movements. Oh yeah, in the scene too. So in Adobe After Effects, that's where I kind of animated all the movements and sort of got everything to kind of move smoothly, like have the Minecraft symbol sort of shrink and grow and then come to the side with Minecraft coming out of it, having Steve respawn, having the sort of creeper land in front of you and have the explosion come out. All of those mechanics I did in Adobe After Effects, and I also included the sound effects for everything, including the music, as well through After Effects. And then I just pulled them from like I pulled all the sound effects from YouTube, and I think yeah, it was mostly YouTube.
It's very relaxing. Their sounds
Yeah.
when nothing crazy.
I was just like, yeah, I didn't want to go too creepy with some of them. I also wanted to pick songs that were very iconic to Minecraft because Minecraft has an amazing sort of like playlist of like all their iconic songs, and there are always just a few songs that everyone like if you play it, immediately people think Minecraft. And I was just like, all right, this one is definitely very much, I don't know, it gave off the sort of feel and vibe I get when playing Minecraft every single time. Because they have other songs that play, but I didn't want to do anything creepy. Like I actually did want this like to be like, oh, like it's supposed to show the experience, what you're going to experience when you play Minecraft. And I felt like this was the best way of doing it.
I think my favorite is the frog. It's so, so cute in a cube-like way. I just love it.
They are kind of cute.
Okay, all you Minecraft fans out there, Jasmyn has given you this wonderful animation. Ooh.
Dig it up, oh yeah. Dig it up, oh, dig it. Dig it up, oh. Dig it up, oh, dig it. Dig it up, oh yeah. With broken hands and withered souls, emancipated from all you know. You got to go and dig those holes. Dig it up, oh yeah. You got to go and dig those holes. Dig it up, oh yeah. You got to go and dig those holes.
Wow. Oh, so that's supposed to be was the assignment to make an intro for a movie?
So yes, but it was actually that we had to animate an intro for an already existing movie or a game or yeah, or some sort of franchise. So for this one, I wanted to animate like a childhood movie that and books that I read and watched like for like years, which is Holes. And I don't know if you've heard of the book, but
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
the movie basically follows what sort of happens within the book. I don't know if I want to spoil that for you since you kind of want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I'll give basically the shorter end of it. So basically we were supposed to animate an intro sequence for a movie or a game, and I chose Holes. And so because I had both seen and read the story before, I really wanted to make an intro sequence for it that kind of alluded to sort of the rough and gritty lifestyle that the boys or the main characters sort of find themselves in, and that also allude to the real events that happen within the movie and the book that, you know, doesn't completely just tell the entire story. So I was inspired by a title sequence for a show called The Good Lord Bird, where it has this very rough and gritty, dry painter brush sort of style of animation, where it also, the story of The Good Lord Bird also takes place in like countryside. And so I decided to try and sort of do something similar where I sort of animate different sequences from the book in the animation. So I did all this in animation by hand as well. I used a new app called Procreate Dreams to make the animation, but then I switched to, I think it was like Procreate or Pocket Procreate to finish it. Since unfortunately, while creating this animation, my old iPad had crashed and died and it would never turn back on. Assignment was due within a few weeks, and I didn't really have anything else I could use to animate with. So the only thing I could do was basically take the first part of the animation I already had, which was the whole sequence up until the yellow sun, and then animate the rest of it on my phone using Pocket Procreate. And then that's where you kind of get the shift where it's like the yellow spotted lizard, there's the whole conflict with one of the main characters, and then he runs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits him with the shovel and runs off, and then that's where you get the title sequence along with the boat.
Is the game supposed to be upside down?
Yes. So that's the boat, and it's part of the bigger lore that's happening within the story outside of the main story. There's like another lore behind this place where the main characters or where the main setting of the story takes place. And so alludes to like one of the main parts of another sort of side story. So yeah, the name is supposed to be upside down because it's supposed to be a boat and the boat's upside down.
Wow, that is really, really cool. I like how there's motion the whole time. There's nothing that doesn't have motion, and that's the way an animation should be. There should always be motion somewhere on the screen. Because of like even the media that you chose, like this, I don't know, chalk looking brush that you used on the iPad. It's just movement everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what the brush is called in Procreate. I think it's like something head. I'm not sure. But yeah, they have a bunch of chalk brushes that they have in Procreate.
Using silhouettes is a great idea because you don't have to worry about small details like eyes blinking, mouth moving, and stuff like that. That's nice.
Yeah, that's the main reason why this is like my first time fully animating after a very long time, and I did not know what to do to animate bodies. So I just used like these silhouettes because I also didn't want to get too wrapped up in like details and like characters, and also because of a time crunch. So it was the best option, and I like the final product.
Very smart. All right, let's wrap up. Let me ask you the last question. This is a character design channel, so I'm going to ask my friend, who is your favorite character and why?
I don't know. I knew this day would come. So if you mean favorite character, do you mean like favorite character that I've created, or just favorite character from like a different medium that I've like seen and that's like my favorite?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be from a show. Just like a character design that's drawn, like who's your favorite. Could be from a show, could be from a comic, anything.
Oh, that's gonna be hard. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Give one like right now, and then like other ones that you like.
Okay, so design-wise, my favorite character is a character called Neapolitan, or she goes by Neo, from Ruby. It's a 3D animated show. I think it aired on like YouTube. It was produced by Rooster Teeth, and she is one of the main antagonists within the anime. And the thing I really liked about her character design is just the fact that they use a very smart way of designing her character, which is, of course, alluded in her name. She has a very ice cream themed color theme going for her. She was actually made by a fan, and she was supposed to be a gender bent version of one of their main antagonists within the show, which was Roman Torchwick. She started off as a gender bent version of him. However, Ruby did a smart thing and just changed her color palette and made her a completely different character and then called her Neo. She's mute, so she can't really speak, but she is a very acrobatic fighter. So if you ever have seen Ruby and have seen like I would recommend watching like volumes 1 through 3 because that's where that's where you see a lot of the main creators sort of work. Monty God rest his soul, he unfortunately passed away, but you see a lot of his work when you watch volumes 1 through 3. And that's where I think it's like the animation is best. And I love Neo's design and fight style because her design is made specifically so that you can follow her movements when she fights because she does a lot of acrobatic movements. So all parts of her body is moving. She's doing lots of flips, twirls, a lot of very complex, flexible stuff. And so oftentimes, especially in an anime fight, that can be very hard to keep up with, especially if you have like characters like dressed in certain colored clothing or have their bodies blended. It can be very hard to kind of enjoy the fight. And what Rooster Teeth did that was very smart is that they kind of had the parts of her body that are going to be moving the most brightly colored. So you have to really pay attention, but when the main character is throwing punches, Neo just moves her hips from side to side. She doesn't do a lot of movement other than just movements in her hips. And it really just shows pretty much how you can make a fight entertaining, and it doesn't have to be just wild punches. Moving your hips to avoid punches, doing backflips, and then landing perfectly in a cute little sit with your one leg over the other. Yeah, unfortunately, Rooster Teeth shut down. Warner Bros. Shut Rooster Teeth down. So if you've seen the later half of the seasons and the movie that they made, you can kind of see why. But if you really want to see a lot of the really good animations, I would watch all of the trailers, the red trailer, yellow trailer, white trailer, and black trailer. I'll watch all of those trailers for Ruby as well as volumes 1 through 3 because those actually depict what the original creator Monty Oum wanted Ruby to be. That's my favorite character design wise. Now, I do have 2 favorite characters that I really like just overall. I do think that their design is really good as well. Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter and then Venti from the game Genshin Impact. I feel like both are amazing characters, amazing way to write a character, as well as just amazing character design that allude to their personality. Spoilers ahead. He is from a clan called the Kurta clan. His people are killed because they have this ability to turn their eyes red when they show any intense emotion, including anger. And so his clan was killed by a group called the Phantom Troop, and they killed his people. It's not really explained exactly why they killed it, but it's alluded that it has something to do with the scarlet eyes, as his people's eyes were literally ripped out of their eye sockets while they were still red and sold to the black market. It is very dark, but it is a very good story. In the series, when you first meet him, he has a lot of his traditional sort of Kurta clan clothing. And it's very interesting because as the series goes on, you kind of see not only does this clothing evolve, but it kind of changes. So at one point, I think in recent seasons, he's not even wearing his traditional clothing, and it kind of represents sort of how he's kind of he's distanced himself from the Kurta clan, and there's a reason. I won't go too deep into it just to save everyone who has not seen the recent chapters. I think the main 2 Kurta outfits that he has, they are an excellent use of primary colors. So they only use red, yellow, and blue with maybe a light skin tone for his skin. But I really like the design because he literally just has only 3 primary colors, with yellow being part of his hair, maybe also part of some accents of his clothing. He has a white top underneath, And then sometimes he wears one sort of top that has blue and red. Other times he wears another top that just has blue and yellow. It does an amazing job, especially when his eyes turn scarlet, because your eye immediately goes to his face. And another character that I really liked was Venti from Genshin Impact, which is a mobile game. Alerts again, Venti is a god, and his real name is Barbados, and he is the god of freedom. And there's basically this whole lore where he is sort of drinking his sorrow away to hide the pain from his past. And I really like the designs for both his human and sort of god version, because it's one where it's very simplified. It's a very simple character design, again, where you have a character that only uses like 3 colors, which is usually some sort of cyan green looking color, white, and then some sort of gold accent color. And I really like sort of the design that they give him. It really fits the sort of bard like sort of D&D style, but also makes it very cutesy and fit his sort of very spunky and sort of funny personality. Those are just some of the characters that I think really have amazing character designs, amazing character development. I will stand by them. I will stand on this hill, and I shall defend my picks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jasmyn, for coming to my interview today. It's been an honor having such a talented, wonderful, amazing, and beautiful individual on my channel. Make sure to follow Jasmyn on any platform she has. Any platforms you want to shout out?
You know what I got? Yeah, it's the only Tumblr I believe is Jazzberry Jams. I have not posted anything just yet. I am in the works, but I do have one of my other art pieces as my banner, so you can look at that for now. I do appreciate Samantha having me on. Thank you so much. This was a lot, but all you artists out there who are aspiring young artists, I hope you've learned something. Your experience is valid. Every artist has their own experience. There is no one way of being an artist. It is all valid. Thank you again, Samantha, for letting me going on a rant on my own art stuff. And I really look forward to seeing what the rest of this channel will make.
Yes. And as we always end, we end saying, dream big, live bold, and keep on creating. We'll see you all next time. Peace.
Sayonara.